Have you ever thought about joining your lads at the pub so you could sing the good old classic song Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden in a wonderful sounding a cappella slash pirate shanty kind of sound? Well, if you have, that's awesome. I wish I could have done that. Hello, everybody. This is That Manga Dude, and welcome to another wonderful, lovely, crazy episode of the FVI, also known as the First Volume Impressions, where I do a full-on review of first volumes or one-shots, and I tell you how I feel about them and if they are worth picking up. So, today we have a lot of kind of emotionally taxing volumes. I was like thinking about it, I was looking over it too, and looking over all the stuff that I've read this month already, and these are like the only ones that have come out recently that are volume ones. Maybe someday I'll do like some kind of like classic volume 1 review, but for now I like to stick with stuff that has like just come out. So these three are very wild, very crazy, and I'm going to get into it when we talk about the stories for each of them. But until then, I hope you're excited for this video. It's going to be a fun one. Let's get going. Okay, our first volume comes from our good old-fashioned friends of Yen Press, and it originally released in August of 2021 on the Young Ace Up website or app. I'm not really sure exactly, but that is the wonderful series by Mokomu Kuren, and that is The Summer Hikaru Died. Alright, let's talk about some background information. There's only so much. Yen Press doesn't give us a lot of information about who worked on it. Very little, at least, in comparison to other companies, but we have editing by Abigail Blackman and Juyeon Lee, and designed by Liz Parlett. So, let's talk about the cover and the spine. This cover is freaking cool. I don't know, something about like the just harshly bright blue color, and like this kid on the front with a peace sign. It's like kind of eerie, and it definitely helps to give you exactly what you're gonna get. Like it's like it looks kind of normal, but also kind of doesn't at the same time, which is exactly what you're gonna be reading throughout this entire volume. The spine is also pretty cool too. Got that nice, very bright blue, and then our other main character is on the front, on the back, or on the back, and another main character is on the front. Woo! Alrighty, let's talk about our characters. There's two of them. So first of all, our main character here is Yoshiki. So he's the main character. So I'm gonna be some mild spoilers. It's kind of already talked about, like in the back and in like the first couple pages, so it's not really that big of a spoiler. But and as the name suggests, Summer Hikaru did. Somebody named Hikaru has passed away, and has suddenly come back. So our boy, like Yoshiki, is really close friends with that person. Some maybe romantic feelings between them, but yeah, he's definitely still affected by this, definitely very emotional, has a really hard time opening up to certain people and just in general, because he knows exactly what has happened to Hikaru, but he doesn't want to tell everybody else in this small rural town, because as you know, information spreads in a small rural town. So he's really trying his best throughout this whole entire thing, and I really feel for him. He's very sympathetic and empathetic character. There's a lot of things that just happen to him that's just like, that sucks, to say the least. But overall, I think he's a very well-written character, and I'm really excited to see where his character goes in the next couple of volumes. And then our other character is here on the front. That is Hikaru. So, as I already kind of said, there is a new Hikaru in town, and the main character, Yoshiki, is very confused as to who this kid is, because he acts a lot like a normal Hikaru. He's very outgoing, likes to do sports and stuff like that, really scared of certain things, which is funny. But he comes back, and he's kind of the same, but kind of not. Very like explorative and curious, and there's something definitely off about him, this specific Hikaru, whoever it happens to be. So yeah, I think it's really interesting to see what this character does, because it's like, it's a character that's not a character but also is a character, has all of the memories of the original character but is not that character. So Hikaru's other is very interesting. I like their dynamic a lot, actually, and I think it really, I don't know, it's creepy. I think I'm going to talk about that with the story specifically, but I already kind of told you the story is. The story basically follows the story of Yoshiki and Hikaru, who live in this rural town, like I mentioned, and like I also mentioned, Hikaru disappears into the woods one day and comes back and is completely different from what he normally is. Like, you could tell he looks the same and sounds the same, but there's something different about his mind, and as you come to find out, yeah, something is very off. This manga does feature a lot of like really just creepy moments. Definitely got me like my hair raising on like my arms. I'm feeling, ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of like creepy moments in here, but the art is fantastic. Just to mention, I've already talked, I'm jumping into the art already, but like just with like the first page, you get some beautiful color, stuff like that, and I just love it. And something to mention as well with the art is also like how it got translated with the topography and stuff like that. There are like moments where the sound effects are just straight lines, and it adds like kind of the creepy eerie factor of it all. Even though it's just like sound effects of like insects or kind of like ambient sounds, it's still like, I don't know, it helps to push how creepy the atmosphere is in this world. Something's just a little bit off with everything. Like all of like the characters, like the human characters, are very like everything is normal, everything is fine, except for our boy Yoshiki. He definitely is seeing some stuff. So I think like the art helps to push the story forward, to keep making this creepy like atmosphere, but also kind of like a slice of life and coming of age story, which is really interesting. It's a weird mix, I must admit, but I think it works really, really well. Do I think it's worth picking up? If you like horror stories, I would say definitely. If you're looking for like kind of like an out there slice of life series slash coming of age slash BL story, I would also say come and check this out. It is a very good first volume. I had a great time, and I was couldn't put it down, honestly. I had just a really great time, and I was super hyped up about this. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this during my most like hyped releases for 2023, so I'm really glad it's finally out. And honestly, you should definitely just give it a shot. Even if you're not a big fan of all the things I mentioned, I'd say just give it a shot, see how you feel about it. And if you don't like it, of course you can always just return it or sell it, but if you do like it, I'm really glad, and I'm really hope that you were able to check out a really cool series. Alright, our second volume is also from Yen Press. This one came out originally in September of 2021 in Comic Beam, and that is the lovely Aya Fumino series, The Essence of Being Amused. Alright, let's talk about this cover. Awesome cover. This cover is gorgeous. It tells you exactly what you're going to get into, which I always do appreciate. Sometimes I do like mystery, like in terms of a cover, but I also do appreciate it when like a cover kind of tells you exactly what's going to happen. Without telling you exactly what's going to happen. But as you can see, there's a girl here in the front who's crying her eyes out, holding holding a canvas and a suitcase in the back. Just overall fantastic, colorful art. I love it. The back is really simple, not my favorite, but it kind of matches with what's going to happen in the story. And the spine is fine. It's a white spine with the black text, so whatever. It's fine. It's fine. But to give you some information, editing is by Carl Lee and Juyeon Lee, so same editor as Summer Hikaru died, very interesting, and designed by Madeline Norman. So let's get into the characters, which I'm only going to talk about one, because she's the main character. She's on the front here. This is Miyu Sena. She is struggling quite a bit. She has quite a hard life. Honestly, everything is decided for her. She seems very much like struggling, stuck in like a perpetual loop of just the same thing over and over again, and she's not being able to do what she actually wants to do. And it's it's an interesting story. I think it's her character really struggling quite a bit with just like everything I just mentioned, as well as feeling like kind of like an imposter and in general. So I don't know, I really like her character and I really sympathize with her. I mean, she's going through a lot, and there's a lot of moments with her where you just get to see her like full raw emotion. I really appreciate it. I think it's really cool to see a character just kind of be able to let their emotions out in a very like natural way. It feels very human. So I don't know. I think it depends on the series for me if a character feels more human or if a character feels more like, whimsical and magical, because it really just depends on like the context of the story. In this context, it's supposed to be more of like a serious, down-to-earth story, so I really appreciate those raw emotions being shown for her character. I really like how her character grows throughout just the first volume. Always really appreciate that, so really excited to see where this volume decides to go. Now, going into the story, so Essence of Being Amused. So the title kind of tells you what's going to happen and kind of doesn't. So basically, like I mentioned, Miyu Sena is struggling through a lot. So first of all, she doesn't make it into the art college that she wants to go to, because she's always wanted to be an art student and like go into fine arts and stuff like that. But she gets rejected, and her mom is like, "All right, no more of that art stuff. You're just going to do what I'm going to tell you because she's not the best mom." But basically, so She goes with everything her mom tells her to do for like the next couple of years, and now she's like in her mid-20s, and it just kind of just dislikes everything. Like, her job kind of sucks. It's just like a typical office job. She's getting men selected by her mom, who she doesn't even like at this point. So eventually it comes to like a fever pitch in the middle of the volume, and she decides to leave home and pursue what she's always wanted to pursue, to become an artist. So yeah, the story is like very, not necessarily close to home, but like it's one of those ones where it's like an actual like failed like situation. Like most of the time, like when you see like high schoolers going into college, at least for like popular series, it's like, oh, they got in like first try, stuff like that. Like, I love Blue Period, and it's like, I think that's like a good representation of like someone who works hard to get into it, even though he struggles throughout most of it. But this one is like what happens if they don't make it, even if she was struggling and working hard. So it's really interesting to see where her story goes as we proceed through like the first volume. I'm not sure where it's gonna go after this, but I really do appreciate like the characters we do get to meet. They're so awesome people, and some people who just like really are helping her to grow, to become a better artist and a better human being, to understand how life works. I don't know, it's super cool. It's a really fun coming of age story, and I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. Going into the art is fantastic. It is as good as the cover tells you. Some just really beautiful like moments in general. Some really exciting stuff. I know there's a lot of like really nice compositions across the board. It's important to note though, there is some notes. I just want to mention some trigger warnings. So they flashed the page and I forgot to mention it. But just some trigger warnings I'm going to throw up right here. So if you're easily triggered by any of these things, definitely stay away from the series, because there is some pretty serious moments that occur that I think would trigger some people. But yeah, art is super good in this one. I mean, I just love how dynamic a lot of the movement is, even for being like a simple slice of life kind of series or coming of age story. I really appreciate it when they throw in that kind of stuff, because it really shows like the prowess of the creator. So Aya Fumino has some fantastic art. Really, really like it. Essence of Being Amused, fantastic. Definitely give it a shot if you're like into like this kind of stuff. If you like Blue Period, I would say give this a shot. It's like an interesting kind of like antithesis to Blue Period. So definitely, I don't know, give it a look over, give it a look-see. If you like that kind of stuff. If you like a slice of life series, if you like a coming of age story, definitely give this a shot. It's pretty good. Alright, coming into our last volume. This one comes from Kodansha as of late June 2023. But I recently got it, I recently read it. Originally published in 1993 in a magazine called Monthly Cutie. That is Kyoko Okazaki's River's Edge. Alright, so there's a lot of information to go over with this one. Editor is Ajani Oloye. Translation is by Alexa Frank. Production is Risa Cho, Payan Yap, and Lorena Mepa. Proofreading is by Micah J. Allen, and the cover design is by Becky Cloonan. As soon as I found out that Becky Cloonan was working on the cover for this, I had to get this. She's one of my favorite comic book artists, so it's really cool to see her be able to do a cover for Kyoko Okazaki, which I just recently read one of her series, so really was hyped to get this. Now, let's talk about the cover and spine. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. It is so beautiful. I just look at this. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I don't know, it's really pretty. I just love the orange and black. It's a really nice mix together, especially with like the white kind of like misty kind of like water look it's got. You can't really see it because there's no reflection here, but this does reflect a little bit, so that's kind of neat. Overall, really pretty cover, really good spines. It's probably my favorite out of the three. Not really a fair comparison though, because there's a lot going on with this one. Now, let's talk about the characters first. So I'm only going to talk about one. There are like 6 characters that are recurring and really important to the story, but I want to leave that up to the reader to check out themselves. So we're only going to talk about one, and that is Haruna, who is the main character. She's really going through it. She's just struggling through high school with a variety of things. She's always defending this kid on the frontier, who is just also just getting bullied constantly, and her character is really interesting, honestly. Like, it's just like, it's crazy to see how much she's going through as a high schooler, but it seems like very real, because like I feel like high school is just like one of those moments in time where just crap hits the fan like constantly, whether you like it or not. I mean, shoot, I wish my high school life was a little bit more simple than that. Like, I don't know, my high school was wild, to say the least. But just like my high school, their high school is also just going through it with a lot of random stuff, with bullying and stuff like that. But that goes into the story, right? So the story features, like I said, the main character Haruna, who's always defending this kid here from being bullied. But one time she decides to, or she finds out that he's been locked in a locker, and she goes to the school to go save him. And he's like, here, come with me, I want to show you something. And let's just say some crazy events occur as we just proceed through it. And wow, this is just a lot of messy drama, messy high school drama. There is so much going on in this volume, which is like pretty big, to be honest. It's a big one, and man, this story it's just like non-stop. We're on the gas constantly. There's always something new happening, like somebody's cheating on someone, and someone's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this person, or oh, like it's crazy. Like my high school story is nowhere near as crazy and intense as this one, but man, like this was wild. And like all the character interactions and relationships are just so very complex and just complicated. There's so much to them, and like I can't believe how much Kyoko Okazaki managed to fit into just this volume. This is the amount of crap that just occurs. I mean, honestly, you have characters who are planning on like leaving like school, and people who are planning on like someone like I mentioned, or like burying bodies. It's a lot. It's just so much, but. If you want like a really, really messy drama, you should definitely check this out. I mean, Kyoko Okazaki is a master at writing these like very somber, like emotional stories where you're never really sure if you like anybody, but it's just like a nice piece of, or it's like an interesting cut of like history, and like seeing like how terrible people can be, and also how nice people can be. So like it's just it's really interesting. I don't know. I think it's very thought-provoking in general. The story is very good. And let's not even get it started with the art. Kyoko Okazaki has a very unique art style where it's very like sketchy. A lot of the like lines are kind of wobbly, but like there's something really interesting about it. I mean, even with the cover here, I think tells you a lot that you need to know. It's a very simple style, but I think it gets the point across really, really well. I really like the emotions that she draws with faces, especially when characters are bored, angry, sad. Like you have like a nice range of facial expressions you get to see in this one. So overall, Kyoko Okazaki's River's Edge is fantastic. Do I suggest everybody read this? Probably not. There are so many trigger warnings I could think of off the top of my head. I was telling my fiance after I finished it, I was like, oh my goodness, like it's just like non-stop. I'll list them all right now, so if you're easily triggered by any of those things, yeah, definitely don't check this out, because like it's just like near constant just information and just like terrible things just occurring constantly. But honestly, it was just a really good read. I really liked it. I thought it was great. Fantastic across the board. I'm really excited to read more Kyoko Okazaki, not gonna lie. So yeah, definitely give it a shot if you're ready for an extremely messy drama and you're not easily triggered by the things that I already mentioned. Alright, we know what time it is. It is time to rank all of the volumes that I read, or all of the volumes that I reviewed for this. So this is going to be a hard one. Honestly, I really liked all of these quite a bit. So honestly, this is going to be like, I feel like pulling hairs. My least favorite out of the three. I'm going to say, I think Essence of Being Amused is going to be my least favorite. And that's only because I really like the other two more. Like, it's like ranking like an 8.75 compared to a 9 and a 9.25. I think the thing that I like struggle with the Essence of Being Amused the most is that like I just don't there's like I don't remember it as much as the other ones. The other ones I could tell you just about everything that occurs. The Essence of Being Amused, I could tell you most of it. There are some parts I'm like I just don't remember very well, but yeah, overall very good first volume. Like, don't let this bottom tier tell you anything, because yeah, like I said, it's like an 8.75 in comparison to really high 9s. After that, man, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm going to say River's Edge is my favorite of the three. I was thinking about it. I think I really like Summer Hikaru Died as a first volume, but Kyoko Okazaki is River's Edge is actually just a one-shot, so everything is done and dusted at the end of this volume. So obviously there's a little bit of bias there in terms of closure, but I think like overall, I just think River's Edge just sits so well. So many things so very well. And Hikaru died, same thing, does a lot of things super duper well. I think it's just like, out of preference, I would prefer to read River's Edge again. Which is like I said, it's a bias, but then, you know, this is my list, not yours, so, and not somebody else's. For me, I think River's Edge is my favorite out of these three, but I really liked all of them. They were all super good. So that's going to do it for this FVI. What did you think about these volumes? Have you read any of these three? Let me know in the comments below how you feel about them, or if you're going to decide to pick them up, because I want to see how you guys feel about it. If you decide to pick it up and decide to read it, let me know how you feel about them. Like I said, in the comments below, and you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all super duper cool things. I really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching, and a little special shout out. Thank you for everybody that participated in the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Please make sure that if you were tagged, if you were one of the winners, please make sure to message me on Twitter. I want to be able to get those volumes to you as quick as possible, and I'd rather not have them just sitting around when someone else could win it and get it from me. So please try to message me as fast as possible. I've already had 2 people message me already, so thank you so much for your quick response. But for the other 2, please make sure you are checking your notifications on YouTube, or watch one of those videos, one of the winners' videos. It will tell you everything that you need to know if you won, if you read the community tab as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.